episode 3.
We're doing a Halloween special for y'all today.
Spooky season is here, and we've got some spooky stories to tell this week. What is it called? Oh my god, it's been so long since I've been in school. Homework. Our homework for last week was to pick 2 stories that are a spooky Halloween topic and be ready to present them on the show this week. So that's what we got for you.
Got a little presentation for you, throwing it back to school.
Yes. Not really a presentation. How well are we going to really do? I don't think I'm that great at words.
I don't know. We got talking points. We're putting in the effort. That's what matters.
Yes. So what's going to happen before we get on to all of that? I have some other shit that I want to get into that we've missed a couple episodes of That's Whack, and I haven't been able to talk about some shit. I have a lot on my mind that I've been wanting to get out, and I need to get it out, and it's time to get it out.
Yes, we're just going to bring it back to the Halloween at the end. It's just going to be a little feature of Halloween.
But before that, I don't know if I'll be able to get it out, and I don't know if you guys can hear, but every time, like, something starts with a T, it sounds like there's, like something's hitting metal, and it's driving me crazy, and I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm pointing it out now, and sorry about it.
Sorry, we're aware of the audio situation, but deal with it.
Okay, so to first get into it, I actually had to tell Sarah about these guys when she got here because she didn't know who they were, and I just don't know how that's even a thing. But the Island Boys, I don't know who the fuck they are,
where they came from.
It was overnight internet sensation, like, boom, blown up over the dumbest fucking shit. This is, like, one of the things that drives me crazy is, like, they take these, like, just dumb-ass kids that shouldn't be getting famous and then blowing them the fuck up because they're making fun of them, but then there's actually people who think it's funny and they're like, oh my god, this is hilarious, this is awesome, and then they, like, get a whole career off of it.
They just go viral for being an idiot, but, like, you're still making them go viral.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it, it's funny. I think it's funny-ass too, like, especially that stupid-ass song that they're doing in the pool, but, like, H3 is talking about it, and they're wanting to get them on. They've already been on the BFFs podcast. Every single fucking, like, TikTok is about them, or people recreating their TikTok. I've seen so many just, like, random drama videos talking about these guys now. It's so much, and I'm like, bruh, they're just 2, like, fuckboys from Florida that are...
That's it. That's their whole story. They're just from Florida and they went viral because they're being stupid.
Man, dude, that's all I gotta say about them. But man, these Island Boys, whatever, crash and fall.
Bye, boys. We're done with you.
I think it was great, but, like, please just let it only be this one TikTok because I mean, who knows? Maybe they can't sing. No, I'm sorry, they can't. They can't rap. They can't sing. Their shit sounds terrible. It was a catchy little, like, island beat that was funny, the first one, but no, we're not going to let this happen, and I am putting a stop to it right now. Okay, thanks. Closing that chapter on the Island Boys. On to the next. Gabby Hanna closes a chapter of social media, apparently. Oh. Sorry, there's some other shit going on, and I was just paying attention to that. But yeah, Gabby Hanna just goes off the internet. Just deleted all of her videos, everything off of Instagram, Twitter, just deleted it all and puts a black avatar,
like, banner.
Gone. She's just gone. This bitch is someone who just runs her mouth all the damn time and doesn't stop. And always is just coming up with crazy ass shit. And so now she's just disappeared. And I mean, me and everyone else, we all knew that this was just going to be really just a music stunt. Like, she comes out with okay music. It's not great.
It's not amazing. It's also not bad. But she just needs to stop with the shit that she was doing before.
No. Well, and that's like, we even listened to, so like, she, of course, released a new song and then released, like, a weird-ass music video with it.
Her only video.
Which, yeah, now is the only video that's on her, like, channel. But seriously, like, I'm not gonna lie, the entire time it was on and the song was playing, The only thing I kept thinking of was like, damn, that's a small ass hallway. Like, that's a tiny ass little hallway. Why is
I
it so small?
honestly was thinking the same thing, and like they should use it for like a scary movie scene.
What was that? The killer! He's escaping!
Like I just envisioned like where they like kind of cuts out and someone's running at the screen and they're like, "Rah!" You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
One of those type of videos.
What I'm like, this bitch is a millionaire. Why the fuck you can't afford bigger hallways? Like that shit just seems like so like claustrophobic to me. Like as I have a claustrophobia so bad, but like
It was very amateur home video.
yeah, and I mean I don't know, man. She was showing too much feet for free. I'm just gonna say that right now.
She should have been charging for what she was showing on that video.
That video definitely could have gone on an OnlyFans feet site, and people would have paid big bucks for that shit.
Well, now they don't have to because she posted it for free.
Honestly, I'm kind of ready. I'm like, bye, Gabby. Like, I'm not mad to like see you go.
She canceled herself. I'm like, she got rid of everything.
Well, she did so much shit to
She
do
was
cancel.
canceled.
Like,
yes.
She done too much, and now at this point, I'm like, I don't mind to see you go, and
everyone's
just go
fine
and make
with it.
your trashy music and live your best life.
Just live your life, but don't include the public. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Ace Family. Their house went up for auction, and I know this is kind of old news. It happened like a little bit ago, but not a little bit ago. It was like a week ago. Like it wasn't like that long ago. But they had, so this fucking, if you don't know, these are the like family YouTubers that have like a huge fucking following, but they're also like trash people, honestly. Like they scam their fans a bunch of times. Currently, Austin McBroom, like his company was the one that just held this like, I think it was like TikTok versus YouTuber like boxing match. And there is a bunch of people that still haven't gotten paid from that. And it's his company that's like running that shit. He's just a sketchy ass dude. Well, they decided that their family of like 4 or 5 needed not one mansion, but 2 mansions, and bought 2 mansions and then remodeled them and built them into one giant ass mansion. They're just like living like crazy as fuck. They've got like a bunch of Lamborghinis, a bunch of different cars, all this like excessive crazy amount of like wealthy things to
like,
just
hey,
show,
we're rich, here you go.
Very much like just showing off that they're rich as fuck and they don't care.
Honestly, if I was rich, I would be doing the same shit, but I don't think I would do it on that level for so long. Like, I would do it when I first got rich, and then I'd be like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think, kind of like stunned for a while, but then that shit gets old, and it's like, nope, it's not.
Like, everybody knows, like, stop trying to do shit for no reason.
Austin had actually just uploaded a video, like, a couple days ago or something, and it was him, like, trying to hype up his daughter, and it was like, oh, I'm taking, like, my daughter to school in a Lamborghini. His daughter's, like, fucking 5 years old. Like, doesn't give a shit about this car.
Doesn't even know what a Lamborghini is. It's just a car.
Yeah, pretty much. And think about it. Like, this girl, like, little girl has grown up in wealth her entire life. Like, these are cars she's seen her entire life. Like, she's not impressed by them. So, like, she doesn't see it as a big deal. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to assume that, like, she goes to a good school.
Yeah.
Where, like, probably everyone else in her, like,
no one's poor.
Yes, everyone's probably like very accustomed to like a wealthy life where she's going. So I'm like, one, you're like how old? 30 plus, like 40 plus? I don't know how old you are, and you're trying to like stunt on a bunch of 5-year-olds
at like the parent drop-off line.
Yeah, and that was the thing too, is like he walks up to her and he's like, oh, are you like, I'm gonna take you in the Lambo, are you excited? And she's like sitting there like staring at him like, yeah. Like, she doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. She doesn't care.
She's like, I just want to go to school and play with my friends.
Pretty much exactly what happens. And then he's like, oh, what are your friends going to think when, like, we pull up in the Lamborghini? And she's like,
nothing.
I don't know. Like, I'm like, kids don't care about that. And then it, like, later in the video, it shows them, like, rolling up. And, like, you can hear, like, Austin getting like, so excited and like giddy
Like
and like
hyping himself
oh
up.
yeah, like, oh my god, look, there's kids looking at me, there's kids looking at the car, oh shit. And he's like, ooh, like calling her name, like, look, 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 look. And you could like literally the kids look up for like a second and then run off. And then he's like, ooh, like he says something to him, and like none of the kids respond. And
They're
then he's
like, why
like,
is this creep ass man talking to me? Like, stranger danger, let's go
it was
inside.
so weird. It was the weirdest thing. And I was just like, dude, you're trying too hard. Like, now you had your house up for auction, which it was something that they had, like, kept saying was false rumors the entire time. Even though, like, people had public records, like, saying, like, nope, this house is, like, going up for auction. And so now it actually went up for auction. It auctioned off for $9.7 million, and no one bought that fucking shit. So now it's going like back to, I think it's like the beneficiary, and I'm pretty sure that's like the bank.
The bank, yeah. If that's who your loan's through, it'll just default back to the bank.
Yeah, I'm like, you know this shit.
I know this shit. This is my job.
Yeah, so it's going back to the bank, and I had read somewhere or heard somewhere that like they would have like a couple months to either like get the money to pay it and then stay there, or like then they'd like,
yeah, basically they give you, usually you get like a 30-day type of notice, and then they'll give you, it's called a demand notice, that basically says you need to bring in this amount of money or we're gonna like foreclose and take the house back, basically.
well, so I'm pretty sure all that shit's about to start. So they either gotta like sell one of them Lambos that Austin has for a down payment on a smaller house, or find the money to pay for their $9.7 million mansion.
They
that
just
they
have
bought.
to sell all their shit to afford to pay the bank back for this mansion.
Dude, why do you think you need that? Like, why do you think you need all of that? Like, they literally probably just hang out in like one little wing of the house, and the rest of it's just fucking empty.
Well, and I feel like I would rather have like houses other places. Like I would rather have like a nice house in like multiple states where I could go like travel around. Like I wouldn't want to just have all my shit at one place, you know what I mean?
That's honestly like a really good idea. Like, I'd rather have like modest, like nice, decent
Like it's
houses
nice and functional.
everywhere,
Yeah.
instead of like one
That's
big
what I
ass
mean.
mansion.
Yeah, then you can just go stay wherever you want.
That's so much nicer. Yeah, fuck
I don't know
that.
why people don't do that.
I would. Well, because a lot of people have the fucking money to buy extravagant houses everywhere.
Well, or they like stay local, or they like go to hotels and shit. Like I get why, but I'm saying that's what I would do.
With kind of like Trisha Paytas, she always keeps saying that like she wants to buy another house in her neighborhood.
Yeah, I saw
Like-
that. Like two or three houses down, just have a whole ass house.
And it's like, why? And she's like, oh, just to like get away. But it's like, you're not going
Your
anywhere.
vacation to like 40 feet down the block.
She's like, my house is just so messy. I need to go to my other house. Walks over to just like your next house right across the street. That shit's stupid.
Mhm.
I'm like, damn, that's just like, you got money to fucking throw away, man. I wish. I'm like, throw some of that money my way.
Mhm.
I'll put anything in my mouth for $5. Okay, on to the next.
I had no
No
comment on that.
response
Sorry.
to that one.
$5 was just very low for me, but that's all good.
You'll be surprised what I do for a pack of 10 McNuggets. All right. I want to talk about this whole Brian Laundrie's parents helping the police find his body and
Mhm.
how fucking sketchy that is.
The whole thing has been sketch, and like I was suspicious about the parents before, like as it was coming out that people were suspicious about them, but this whole situation just like proves that like more is going on.
Okay, so here's a little background. So they go into the spot, like Brian's last scene, can't find him, search everywhere, search, can't find him. Then all of a sudden, weeks later, his parents are like, oh yeah, let me help, I want to go look. And then boom, instantly, like right where they dropped him off, they find his bag, they find his shit. Then they find like a skull and apparently some teeth or like something, because they had his dental records. But come to find out, the skull that they found wasn't even a match to Brian. So it's like, whose fucking skull
Some
is
random
that?
skull and just like teeth on the ground.
It totally seems like a plant. Like,
Well,
they
as
just,
if
like,
they
faked his
wouldn't have
death.
found that before too.
That's
Like
what
how many
I'm
people were out there
saying.
looking, and like they just happened to stumble across all this shit that day.
Now that the parents have decided
Yeah.
that they're gonna join, like, it's just not right. make sense.
It's
Like, make it make
suspicious.
sense.
Suspicious.
But I just, like, why let them help? Like, I don't know. I would just feel like that's so sketchy, especially since, like, how the parents have been acting through this whole entire investigation. First of all, taking him out to escape in the first place, because let's not forget, they were the ones that, like, drove him out to this fucking forest so they could go, like, quote unquote camping, when it was like, no, that was a setup to have him escape. This
Yeah.
motherfucker is either dead somewhere, I don't think it's him, but like dead somewhere else, or he's escaped. Like, he's long gone.
Yeah, I don't understand why they let them help either, like you're saying. I feel like at this point they're almost like accomplice-ish. Like they're definitely helping, which you would do as a parent. Like no shame to the parents, but like they
No
should not
shame.
be, not like no shame, but like if that was your kid, you would probably be doing the same shit. Like I get that, but no.
No, if
Like
my kid like cold-bloodedly killed
I'm talking,
someone
okay,
and
no,
then
we
comes
don't
back
have
with their
kids. I feel like
shit, oh hell no.
our generation feels like that. The older generation is like ride or die for your fucking family. You know what I mean?
Dude, my mom would turn me in so fucking quick if I
For a
murdered
reward.
somebody.
She'd be like, do I get reward?
Dude, anybody would.
Mm-hmm.
But like, no, for real. I don't know. That's just how, like, my mom was always just like, you do the crime, you do the time. Like, some shit I can't get you out of. My mom was always the mom who sided with the teacher in school, where like, if the teacher's saying you did something wrong, you fucking did something wrong. Like, I don't want to hear your excuses.
Oh, see, my mom would have told that bitch off. My mom's on my side. My mom would like cover for me if some shit went down, probably.
If it was like a self-defense or like a situation where I was like, Mom, some crazy shit happened.
Yeah.
But
okay.
if I just like,
not this situation.
If it was this situation and then I come home, like,
I would be like, you gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so like, let's say like me and my boyfriend go out and we like go on this huge trip, and all of a sudden I come back in his van, he's gone, I'm not answering questions, I'm not saying shit, and they're like, it's a huge news thing, if I'm on like a person of interest, like,
I would be like, do not call me, don't talk to me, literally figure your shit out, goodbye.
Exactly. My mom would be like, bitch, you gotta turn yourself in. Like, you can't come here. Like, I'm gonna turn your ass in. She'd be like, no, she would. She'd be like, yeah, you can come stay here. Come on over. And then I'd get here and the police would already be waiting
rolling
at the
up
door.
On your ass.
They would be waiting there for me. And I'd be like, fuck. And I'd be caught.
And I don't understand how they don't have, like, with all the technology, like, do they not have phone conversations with them or, like, anything? Like, I don't understand why they're not even, like, questioning the parents at all.
That's what I don't get. Is like,
it's just
I feel like people have been charged with a whole lot more, with a whole lot less way in the past, and now it's like, this dude is so like guilty. Like, why are we being so iffy around the point? One thing that I was really curious about too, and that just doesn't make sense to me, is like, how long he's been in this forest or like this area, like, for however long, or. What am I trying to get to? Because I'm not making sense right now. How long has he been in this forest now for?
A while. It's been a while.
But it's just a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, but I mean, a couple weeks is a long ass time.
But not enough time for a whole body to decompose, right?
I mean, unless it's been like eaten by animals and stuff. If it's just like laying there, I feel like you could still see, like, there would still be skin on it.
That's what I'm saying, is like, how would they like find a whole skull and everything? Like, I don't feel like his body would have like decomposed questions.
I'm like, was there meat on it? Like, could you see a face? Like, was it just a bare skull that you can like buy from a gag store? Like, what did it look like?
Well, from the way it sounds like it was just a skull. And who knows if it was even like a full thing? Like, it's just like, I don't know.
No, it definitely would not.
Body remains.
I don't know how long it takes for shit to decompose, but unless it got like scavenged by animals, I don't think that it would be to the point where you couldn't identify someone. Other than by their dental records. Like, you would have fingerprints and shit or something, like hair samples.
Yeah, it wouldn't all be gone at that point. Like, that's too early. And also, like, they came back with this autopsy with like him so fucking quickly, but for some reason they find Gabby's body after like a whole lot longer of being gone for. And like dead, mind you, she was dead and like gone a whole lot longer than supposedly this fucking asshole. and they managed to find his body, and then it also took a whole lot longer for her autopsy to come back than Brian's. That's what I thought was fishy. It's like, how can you, like...
It seemed very, like, pre-prepared.
Yep, it just seems super sketch. And so I'm just like, I don't feel like this is done. I feel like this motherfucker's still out there somewhere.
At large.
And this was like a cover-up, for sure. I don't know, it's sketchy.
Or a distraction or something, just to, like, prolong and let him get further away or something.
Yeah, who knows what the fuck, but I'm sketched about it,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's over, y'all. I think some crazy shit's about to go down with that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they find him.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's not him. Yeah, no. Because fuck that. I don't think he should get, like, the easy way out and, like, kill himself.
Well,
like,
and,
that's
like...
fucked up. Like, no, you deserve to, like, stay here and be, like, a public humiliation and sit in jail for the rest of your life and be, like, an absolute piece of shit.
Well, and did he just, like, pull his tooth out? Like, what is the situation? Were the teeth, like, in the skull? Or were they just, like, laying on the ground? Like, he just, like, ripped out one of his teeth and, like, left it there.
Dude, who knows? I don't know. Like,
it's still, yeah, it's still, like, too new to know. I'm like, that's some shit
I don't think they would even, like, say.
Release yet. Yeah.
But hopefully...
They just gotta find it, and they gotta get to the bottom of whatever suspiciousness is going down.
That's one thing, and I'm like, we need to charge these parents with something, because they did something.
They're involved at this point, like, whether they were involved before, they're 1000% involved now, and, like, why is no one talking about that?
Yep, and so, get on the parents. Parents need to do something.
Call those bitches out.
Alright, next here on the list... Keemstar apparently is retiring off the internet, which when apparently all of the like people who should be off the internet are actually realizing they should be off the internet and are taking and are doing the right thing. Because here's the thing, Keemstar is a piece of shit, and everyone knows that, and I don't really need to go into that. But what I think is super funny with this whole thing is he keeps saying, like, the reason he's, like, retiring and the reason he's getting off the internet is because of, like, the whole cancel culture, and he doesn't like cancel culture, and the fact that people are, like, bringing other people's sponsors into things and trying to get sponsors dropped and taking all this away. He's like, that's just, like, a terrible thing to do. Like, you can't, like... It's turning people into robots, and, you know, like, nobody wants to say anything, and everyone wants to, like, protect their, like, sponsors and their brands and all this, like, other, like, shit. And honestly, I get that. I'm like, for sure. But also, like, everyone does that. Celebrities do that. It's a normal thing. Like, you work with big companies who affect a massive amount of people. They're going to make sure that they stay pretty neutral, and the people that they're working with aren't going to be people going off, like, starting crazy-ass controversies. And what I think is crazy is when he says, like... Oh, also said he's just, like, it's just not fun anymore. People aren't making drama anymore. People aren't, like, doing anything. Which I don't get, because people are starting drama and doing random shit left and right and, like, fighting and arguing and, like... You have, like, Trisha and Ethan's drama, and then Trisha as a whole, all her fucking drama, and then you have, like, all these people, like, these creators starting fucking, like, companies that are end up being shit, and then, like, that drama, and people's, like, makeup lines being trashed, and then one person talking shit about another person. There's so much drama out there.
It's just not involving him. I feel like that's why. He's, like, pissed that he's not included or something, almost.
Well, and I just, like... Are you mad that people aren't, like, making jokes or, like, being cool with, like, major, like, offenses anymore? Because there's drama everywhere. The only thing that, like, really has, like, been, like, no, we're not dealing with or taking offense with is, like, sexual assault and...
just, like, major stuff that's not just, like, little things that you, like, talk about.
Almost killing your friends, like, putting people in unsafe environments, not paying people, like, all these, like, big major things, doing, like, hate crimes, like real being world homophobic. Shit. Like, yeah, no, you can't do that shit anymore. So, no, like, you can't make fun of that. And unfortunately, when you're someone like Keemstar, that's all you know how to make fun of, and that's all
he's, like, no longer relevant, and he's pissed about it.
Right. When you are, like... You've made a whole career about being offensive and saying offensive jokes, and now, like, people don't think that's funny anymore. Like, no, you don't have a career, and you don't, you're not funny anymore, so people don't care. And that's the thing, too, is with Keemstar, all of his his Twitter interactions were down. Like nobody really watches Drama Alert anymore. Like at least like on his Twitter, you can go down. He's getting like a couple hundred likes on Twitter, and like a couple like replies and shit. He's not doing well. So like he's just like slowly dying out.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was listening to his like retiring video, and he said that he's gonna try to find a new host for Drama Alert, and like by the end of like March. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I like tried to do it, and then I got in, and I was like trying to fake it till I make it, and then I'm like a couple months in, you know, and I've got comfortable, and I'm like cool with my show now. And then I like flipped the script and like I'm a complete 180 and start trashing
You just
like
start calling him
Keem on
out
his own stuff,
on the show.
like on his own show. Wouldn't that be
Yes.
awesome? I've
Just
thought about
like
it.
a blind side.
Yeah, and I'm like this right here, what we're doing is small enough. Like he wouldn't catch this.
No.
He doesn't like listen to this. So I'm like, it would be a great idea. And then boom, now I'm like on this big show, and then I get to like pull one of the like biggest pranks ever and like just prank his ass on his own show. But good riddance. Like, hopefully in March he's actually gone and we don't have to see his fucking weird ass head anymore. Bye, Felicia.
I feel like this whole show we're just talking about people that should and have been canceled.
And, like, good. Like, I hope next week it's like James Charles is retiring off the fucking internet. Like, bye. Fucking David Dobrik retiring off the internet. Bye. Logan Paul. Jake Paul. Bye. Ooh, okay. So one more thing I want to get into here before we take a little break, and then we get into our spooky stories. I am so shocked and so surprised that this bitch sitting right next to me has not heard about this story.
I live under a rock. I'm shocked when you showed it to me that I hadn't heard about it. I was like, what? Are you serious? Is this real? And you were like, yeah.
This has been in the news. It has been all over Facebook, all over Instagram, all over Twitter. I've seen fucking Snapchat little reels about it. Like, this is everywhere. TikTok is like eating this shit up, and you're always on TikTok, so I don't know how you missed this shit.
It's just not on my For You page, apparently. I don't know why. It probably will pop up now, like now that we're talking about it.
Oh, definitely. Our phones have heard us talking about it, and it's going to be the first fucking thing you see when you get on your phone. But anyways, Alec Baldwin, apparently on his new movie set, Rust, it gets handed a gun with a live round in it and fucking shoots and kills the cinematographer, Helena Hutchins.
And it was supposed to be a prop gun, right?
It's a prop gun. Well, so here, like the definition when it comes to like props and on like set is like anything that is used in a movie is a prop.
But it was supposed to obviously not be loaded.
It was supposed to have blanks in it. It was supposed to be a cold gun. And that's the thing is, so like the assistant director on Russ, who like handed the gun to Alec Baldwin, he acknowledged to the investigators that he didn't check at all for like any live rounds. Like he didn't check.
There was no precaution. They just were like, here's a gun.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, apparently like the whole camera crew left in protest because like the production company had been like cutting corners and like safety measures that, like, I guess they were working long ass hours. They were told they had to like travel super far and they weren't getting like paid. They were like underpaid.
And then somebody gets shot. I would leave too. Well,
so before they get shot, the union people ended up leaving and protesting and like leaving. So then the production brought in non-union workers to finish the job. Next thing you know, bang,
pop, pop,
bitch is dead. Like, it's sad. It's literally just like people not giving a fuck about the people that work under them.
You just had one job. Like you had one job to check it and you didn't do it.
No. And that's why I just don't get. And well, also too, I've been like hearing is like the producers of this movie could be held accountable for like this happening. Like you're the producer, you oversee everything. Yeah. This is something that's on you. And Alec Baldwin is a producer on this movie, so like, is he going to be like held accountable for this? And like, probably. Also, if he is, like, what is going to happen? Is it going to be like just a little like accident? Is it going to be like, what is it? Something, I forget what it's called. Some kind of like
Like an
murder charge.
unintentional
Yeah.
murder or something like that. Like it wasn't a premeditated thing.
Yeah, it wasn't like premeditated, but it was accidental, but it like was caused from like
what is that,
lack
second
of
degree? Or third degree? I don't know the
maybe.
degrees. It's not first degree because it
No.
wasn't.
I'm like, first degree is like, I'm gonna kill
Like
your
I came
ass,
into your room while you were
bitch.
sleeping and I stabbed you.
Yep. 12 times. I fucking Jody Arias your ass. Like that.
Ugh.
Some crazy ass shit. I don't know. I just so sad. Like, man, it's just lack of people's fucking like ability to be professional and eye for detail and just like wanting to be like safe. Like, wow, that's just literally all the higher up people being like, you know what, I don't give a fuck about any of you. I have deadlines, I have money to make, you're gonna fucking make this happen, and who gives a fuck?
It's just no one doing their job. Everyone's like, oh, they got it, I don't have to do anything, they got it. Well, guess what, no one had it, and ultimately that person paid the price. So
well, and I didn't actually like have time to look into it, but I do remember I had seen an article, and I didn't look into the article, I don't know how real it is, but there was an article about how apparently like the crew right before they used the prop gun was like actually like shooting it. Yeah, they were just like outside like using the gun and like shooting it, and then they like gave it to them.
They're like, so, okay, like, here it's ready. We just shot it like 8 times in the street, but here you go.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, like that kind of sounds a little like sketch. As like, if that's true, then that's definitely negligence, and you were out firing the gun, having a good time, and then like didn't even think to check, which apparently this fucking assistant director will like has admitted that he did not check the rounds. So there's a lot of people.
Well, I mean, you have to say that, because if you're like, oh, I did check it, I knew it was loaded, like, you can't say that.
It just sucks with like things like this. It's like, you know so much about it, but it's gonna take so much time. Like I said, it's gonna be like months until they like can get shit figured out. So we're just gonna have to like sit on this hot ass story for a while and just kind of see what happens and unfolds.
That's how all like just our justice system is so slow. I get that they like want to get it right. Obviously, we want to make sure like the story is right and they're not going off of like false information, but stuff literally takes so long to like get to that point of justice.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, it makes sense. Like they're making sure shit sticks. They're gonna get everything together to make sure that they can really like get ya, you know. So they only got like a couple options here to really like figure that shit out. And they have like so many like procedures, you know, like you can only hold someone for like 48 hours until you go to charge them or like whatever. So they really have to be careful. So I'm like, whatever, but like, let's be this along. I will say though, this is when I get really like grateful for YouTube, because I found like there's a whole legal side of YouTube, and they like some people, like this one girl, Emily D. Baker on YouTube, she breaks down like all like the celebrity and entertainment cases, and they're really entertaining to watch, and it also helps kind of understand what the fuck's going on, because she was a lawyer, and so she knows how to like explain this shit and like knows what they're talking about, so that us dumb people know what the fuck they're talking about.
Regular people don't know what goes on. Like if you're not in that field, you don't know what goes on.
No. So then when you have someone just as nice that's willing to like, I'll sit down and I'll like transcribe all of this to you normies. It's like, wow, thank you. And she's actually entertaining and funny as fuck and like interesting to listen to. So I'm like, thank you for existing and doing what you do and letting me know what the fuck's going on in this case, in the Erica Girardi case, in the Brittany case. I like to know what the fuck's going on. So thank you. All right. That's going to be that on that. We're going to take a little break here. And then when we come back, we're about to get into our spooky stories. I really wish we dressed up, man. We should have dressed up for this. It would have been fun. We could have been in costumes right now. Next year. All right, we'll be back.
All right, we're back. I'm going to kick off this spooky feature for Halloween with a little story. Takes place in Missouri. It's about a missing person's named Cassidy Rainwater. She's 33.
Ooh.
I want to also just say that this is a very new case, and nothing towards the end of what I'm about to say has been fully confirmed, but we'll get there when we get there. So
everything is alleged.
It's very alleged, and it's still 100% under investigation. So Cassidy goes missing back in July. Her family and friends, for some reason, didn't report her missing until late August, which is kind of weird to me that it took that long for anyone to say anything. But she was reported missing in August. However, fast forward now, she's been missing about month, 2 months. September 16th, the FBI gets a anonymous tip about her whereabouts. Someone basically says, hey, like, we know that she's here somewhere in a cage being like held against her will. So fast forward, we're also going to be talking about a man named James Phelps. He's 58 years old, and Tim Norton, 56 years old. Both are being held without bond right now because of these alleged things that were happening to this woman. So basically, the police go out to this man's house, James Phelps. It actually turns out, let me back up, it turns out that both of these men are registered to this address, but only James is currently living there. So they go out to the house, and he actually did willingly talk to investigators, FBI, whoever, and he admitted that this woman, Cassidy, was staying there, but that she abruptly left in the middle of the night, unexpectedly just got up and left, which...
How do they know each other?
They're friends, or I don't know. I couldn't really find too much about it, obviously, because it's so new. I think they're trying to kind of keep everything private because they don't know if anyone else is involved. Because honestly, it to me almost seems like some type of like maybe like trafficking. Like we just don't know what's going on at this point. But I don't know. I'm not sure how they know each other. But it's suspicious to me, like weird. If she got up and left in the middle of the night, like why? It just is suspicious, you know what I mean? My thinking is she escaped, if anything. Maybe she, like, got out because she's still missing. They have not found her, have not found remains. They don't know.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So I'm thinking if he's saying she left, maybe she somehow escaped. I mean, he's an older man. If he was the only one there, like, if these are the only two people involved, like, you might be able to fight off an old guy. So this happened. They went out to the house. This is around, like, September 16th. So then they end up questioning Tim, which is the other man who doesn't live on the property. They question him on the 19th, and he denied having any involvement. I guess they called him back the next day for further questioning, probably to see if he was going to tell the same story. Basically comes out, throws James under the bus. He's like, this is what's going on. So he tells them that he got a call from James back in July 24th, which if Cassidy went missing in July, the time frame lines up. He said he got a call from James. He said, come over, I need your help with something. Gets to the house, says that the something that he needed help with was restraining this woman and like holding her captive, basically.
What the fuck?
So imagine your friend calls you up and I'm like, hey, I need you to come help me with something, and it's like stuffing someone into a cage against their will.
Well, first I got a couple questions.
Yes,
like,
fire
did
away.
this person attack your ass? Like, did they, like, what is the scenario? Like, if you just, like, fucking snapped and went batshit crazy and you're like, I don't know, I just, like, saw red, I don't know how this happened, I'd be like, bitch, come on, we gotta go figure some shit out. But if you were like, this motherfucker tried to kill me, this is where we're at, I'd be like, all right, let's figure this shit out.
And I don't even know what the like underlying reasoning was. I mean, obviously this guy's just a creep. Yeah. And I also want to say he's a middle-aged white man. I feel like all serial killers are like a middle-aged creepy ass white man.
Man, they ain't got nothing else better to do.
Like, you got nothing better to do on your property than hold a woman captive.
We'll have to like come back when the story's like finished.
Yeah, it's still then, like, do a really recap. New. Like, this is like the end of September, so it's not even been a full month that this has been going down. But so as they're talking to Tim Norton, they're also getting a search warrant, and by they I mean the FBI. They get a search warrant for James's cell phone. Get into his cell phone. He has multiple pictures of her. It said partially nude, so she was somewhat clothed in a cage. And I imagine it as like a dog type cage. You know what I mean? Like something small where you're like hunched over. That's what I'm picturing.
That's what I'm picturing too. Just like the metal bars, like
yeah.
box.
And the house wasn't big. It's not like this is like a big area. Like this would literally just be like if you had a cage in the corner of a room in your living room type of a situation. So they found these pictures. I'm assuming this is when they got arrested, put under custody. They're still being held, no bond. Like they're not getting out anytime soon because this is just insane to me. So fast forward, obviously the police are doing their investigations on October 4th. So this is about 10, 15 days after the arrests were made. A fire starts at the house. Burns to the ground. Literally, this house burned to a crisp. There's like nothing left. There's a stove.
I wasn't trying to like get into the story because I wanted like Sarah to tell the story, and I kind of wanted to get like first reactions. But she did show me a picture of this house, and like, if you ever played The Sims 4 and you're like building in the house and you like put all the walls down, and so it's just the like ground floor and you can like see barely where the outline of the walls are, that's exactly how this fucking house was. Is like you could see the outline of like where the walls of the house used to be, and then it was just like gray
There's
flat.
no walls,
no
it's rubble,
left.
and you can literally just see like the remnants of a stove, like the major things that are like in the structure of the house. So obviously first thought is, how did this house burn to the ground if no one is there?
And
you know
how
what I mean?
intensely, like...
Yeah, if you just like dropped a match, I don't think your entire house would burn to the ground like that. Like there had to be lighter fluid, there had to be something. So obviously the police are suspicious. So they ended up calling out a bomb squad, or I'm not sure if they called out the bomb squad or if during the investigation when they found, you know, certain things, that's when they were called. But basically, bomb squad gets called out. They did classify it as arson, so that's now an additional charge. But at this point, now there's more people involved. How did this house burn to the ground if the only two people involved are in custody?
That's it's super sketchy. Is like they got it. There's this like whole underground thing gotta be going on.
It's
like
something else for sure, or someone else is involved somehow.
That just, I don't know, man. It's just so sketchy how the whole house can burn down. And also, too, that's what I want to know is, like, how do they know each other? Or, like, how did they even come into contact? How did she begin staying with them? Like, how did she get there? Did she live there? Like, is that where she lived?
I don't even know that she even was staying
there. Did she grow up there?
But did she stay there, or was that just his cover story? Like, did they just kidnap her off the side of the road? Like, we have no idea.
That's like a huge thing too, is it's so much. And my big thing too is like, if this guy's gonna like rat out on this one other dude, like tell the whole fucking story.
Right. Well, and I don't even know, he might not even be that involved. Like, let's say he's just the friend and he helped out with this, but if there's something else major going on that involves James, I feel like this Tim guy might only be like hitting the tip of the iceberg, like doesn't even know the full story, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I have so many questions because it's such an open, like, case still. Like, they aren't releasing very much to the public, obviously, for good reason. But...
Well, yeah, they gotta still figure out everything, but god damn, I mean...
It's intense.
That sounds like literally a horror movie.
It's intense. And I had first heard about this story on TikTok, and the weird thing was it was a cannibal story. They were talking about these men as if they were like consuming this woman, like keeping her captive, like holding her hostage and like eating her, which when I looked, I didn't find anything related to that with evidence. So either these are just rumors that are starting, but it was rumored. I found an article that said 13 different sets of human remains were found on property.
So it definitely sounds like this isn't like a one-time thing. Like they've done this
if
shit.
That's
they
true,
have it unlocked.
Yeah, if that's true, something has been going on there for a while. And I did find record of when they lived at the house. So James lived there, or I'm sorry, Tim lived there back in the like 1990s. So I don't know if maybe that's the connection. Like he sold the house to James, maybe.
But then, like, why would you still be tied? Like, if you sell the house, you sell the house and
Yeah,
you're gone.
I don't
Like, you
know.
guys got to be like family or
Yeah,
buddies or
maybe
something where
family
like you're
friend or
still kind of
something,
like
but
being involved.
but so he lived there in the 1990s, and I think James got the house in like the 2000s or something like that. But that even brings it back to the whole like arson thing. This house has been standing and they've been in this house for so long. Like, why now? Why would it just burn down?
Right, like right after they get arrested, not even like before or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Like that's just while you're gone too, like the house was perfectly fine before and then all of a sudden it's not fine.
Literally.
Like shit went down, something happened.
That was his one phone call. He called and said, burn it to the ground.
That's all he said. He had like a code word. He's like, cook the chicken. And then they went kapoof.
Yeah.
And blew that
just
shit
blew
up. Blew it up.
Blew it up.
Blew it up like I blew up the toilet while we were on break.
Yeah, that's why we had to go to break. But yeah, so I don't know about the whole cannibal situation. Obviously, if that was what was happening, that's a whole nother level to this story. But just the story as is very sad. And I mean, at least it's out there now. At least, you know, hopefully this woman escaped. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping she escaped and she's somewhere and she's fine and she's not, you know, dead. But we don't know.
God, well, that's like a shit, just like the Alec Baldwin case. That's something we're just going to have to keep up on.
Mm-hmm.
That literally sounds like it's going to be like a horror movie in a couple years.
It's going to be a big deal. I feel like it could be on Bailey Sarian.
Yeah, turn off your sound.
It was turned off. I've got to turn back on accident.
We're trying to do a show here.
That's pretty much all I got. I don't know if you have any more questions.
No,
it's not, there's not a lot out yet. It's still very new. This is only a month old, so I'm just bringing you just the facts. I'm trying to just keep it pretty simple, straightforward. This is what is known.
You're going to have to put like an alert on Google or something about this girl's name and like keep up on it so that like when we get something good, we can like keep bringing it up and it'll be like a ongoing story that we have. I
just hope that they find her.
You know, it does get really sad, man. And I really, if she escaped or like left at the night, like hopefully she really did. And because from what sounds like they found on the phone, it's like, nah, she wasn't just like willingly staying there, just like hanging out with a friend. She fucking escaped
held
from a
against her
cage.
will, and she either is dead or escaped. So, you know, only time will tell. We'll keep you updated. Obviously, I'm very interested in the story now. I'm going to follow it, whether we talk about it again or not. But
she's been talking about it too for a while, for a couple of days. Like we're going to stay into it. I'm so excited to get into my story. This is actually a story I heard about, I want to say like last year, and then I was like, oh, this is really interesting, and this was the perfect time to tell it. The Mckamey Manor, a terrifying, over-the-top, taken way too far haunted house. A man named Russ Mckamey has created a haunted house that is way too intense, a fully interactive haunted house that will touch you, grab you, waterboard you, stuff you in cages, just take it way, way too far. I will say there is a 40-page waiver to sign before going into this.
No.
And it's so crazy. It all started as just like a friendly neighborhood, just normal homemade haunted house in Russ's backyard in California with just like teenagers in the neighborhood like participating with just normal jump scares and decorations from the store, just normal shit. Would charge people like dog food to come through, and he said that he would like donate the dog food to local animal shelters. So it was just like, all right, like just a really normal, like
just your everyday haunted house that you go to in your neighborhood.
Someone who loves haunted house, like someone who loves Halloween and like the scary stuff, and is just like doing good for the community and having fun with it. But he like apparently he's always wanted to push it, and he always wanted to make it better, and always like do the next best thing.
Step it up every year. I got to do something bigger, better.
Correct. And unfortunately, with people seeing the same thing every single year, getting the same jump scares, like people are getting bored with jump scares and normal shit and all the stuff that they've seen for years and years.
Yeah, you've seen it 100 times.
Well, that's when the like blackout theory or like the blackout idea for haunted houses started to come out, where they would like turn off all the lights and then they could like touch you and push you and do that like really intense like scare stuff. So Mckamey Manor catches wind and decides that they're going to jump in on the action. They're going to like make a change and they're going to flip the script on everybody and really like dig down into this category of haunted houses. So Russ decides he's firing all the teen actors, he's switching to adult actors, he's making the scenes in the haunted house less like family friendly and more like graphic for adults. He like creates this YouTube channel to post up these like videos, and it's actually like getting a lot of really good like interaction. People are really liking it. They're having a good time. They're getting pushed to be scared, but nothing too far, like just kind of small things and just real good fun. Like he actually ends up getting like a bit of fame from it. Like he has a documentary done about him. He gets some articles. He had a couple spots on like a couple of like haunted houses shows. Like he really did it. He made a really, really successful house, a haunted house. But then, right, like, then you always take it too far. Like, people always take it too far. They don't know when to stop, and they don't know when enough is enough. And that's exactly what
Enough, yeah, it wasn't enough. He wanted to keep going.
He does exactly that. Apparently, his wife does something in law, so he would, like, come together and talk to her and be like, all right, hey, like, what can we really do? Like, how can we put this, like, boundaries together? There's actually a voice memo of Carol, Russ's wife, saying that he would come to her with the craziest ideas and like she would tell him no, like we can't do that, and then they would do it anyways.
Oh my god.
Like
your lawyer wife that you're going to for advice is saying you cannot do this to people and then you still do it?
Yeah, like pushing people too far. Seeing pictures and videos of this haunted house and people in them are like, honestly, they look like they've been tortured. Like it's straight torture. You see people with like cuts that are like bleeding everywhere, like they've got blood everywhere. Who knows if it's fake blood or not fake blood, but a lot of these people, they've got like swollen faces, they've got cuts everywhere.
They're like
people
real
have, like,
terror.
Broken bones.
Yeah.
Like, well, when they decide, like, but before that, when they're deciding to make this switch to that, they decide that they're not going to be like a public Halloween event anymore, and they're going to be a year-round exclusive event. So they're going to do just like a couple like tours every month, and it's a year-round thing. And the only way to really like be able to go through this manor is a very extensive process. So you have to join a Facebook group, then get interviewed by Russ himself. Then you have to take a drug test, a physical, and a psych test to then be like, okay, you can get into this and you can take that. So after going through like a multiple rounds of like...
I feel like it just went from like your everyday Halloween thing to now it's just like the fact that they're doing it year round, like all the time. It just changes. It changes how we see it as like the public, you know what I mean? It's not just for Halloween.
No, now it's just like, do you want to get tortured? Pay me and we'll do it.
Yeah, pay me and we'll fuck you up.
And so, well, and every year this manor, like they change it up every year. You know, you can't do the same thing every single time. So then you go through all of these verification steps, you get approved, and now you don't even know what you're walking into. Like, and then this is when like that really big change in the manor started, where it went from like pushing, shoving, like normal things to people were getting locked in caves, being shoved in pools, like
attacking
it. And then there was no end. Like it became longer and longer and longer, and it stopped being like a normal house where you had a start and you walked through and you finished. It was like an endurance. Like you had to go for as long until like you were literally like emotionally and mentally broken down where you can't go
Can
anymore.
you get out? I don't know if you're going to talk about that later, if you were like said to talk about that, but are you allowed to just be like, I'm done, like I want you to let me out?
Russ says that if you say that like stop, you're done, that they'll end it and you're done. But we'll get into like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But the way he would really like just mentally manipulate these people that like their lives were actually in danger. One of the big things that he would do is he would like convince people that the whole entire haunted house was actually being live streamed to like an underground betting in Vegas, and that the people there in Vegas were actually controlling the haunt and telling them like where to go, what to do, and like these people controlled the faith. Like whatever they said they had to do, and it wasn't them like doing like controlling it. Like they had no control. And then like with the Manor's like waiver, that's when a waiver got leaked online, this 40-page waiver saying that like the Manor is allowed to pull your fingernails off. The Manor can use needles, zappers, tasers, dog shot collars. Like they can pull your teeth. There was like so many crazy ass things in this like waiver. Like pretty much saying like they can like
They
put
can do
you to the
whatever.
brink of
You're
death.
just signing away the fact that this person, you're like allowing them to do whatever they want to you, basically.
Yeah, you like are just like, okay, apparently like you're signing your life away.
Mm-hmm.
But even after all of this, like everyone's still loving the Manor. They're still like, fuck yeah, like we love it. Like people are fucking psycho. They apparently love it. And with that, Russ is gaining this like giant following online. People are joining the Facebook group, people are talking about it, people are like following what he says. Then 2016 came around and he had come out with this new theme. It was called The Chamber. And that was like the year that he had taken it way too far and people were not okay because back then when it got changed to like locking in pools, like shoving, like locking in cages, being shoved in pools, like sure that was like a little far, but I mean
this was
you
getting
could
too
still
far.
say stop.
Yeah.
You could still say I'm done. Like it wasn't like they would still be done. When this like chamber one came out, that's when shit just got way too far. The actors started punching and choking people. That's when they started like waterboarding people. Apparently they would cut people's hair off and make people eat it.
Ew.
And then if you threw up, they would make you eat your throw up.
Ew.
And there was just so much other shit. Like apparently, like that's just like the not so bad stuff. Apparently, there's like way
That
worse
sounds
stuff that
horrible.
happened.
Already,
Yeah.
I'm like, I would never do that.
There's videos. The videos that I saw from these people, like in this, there was this one picture, and it's this lady sitting there, and her head is like locked in a cage,
Mm-mm.
and her whole face is like covered in blood. And I'm like, yeah, maybe some of it's like fake blood, but like, how much is that of her blood?
Well, and that's like mentally too. Like you're just in a cage and they're like pouring shit on you. Like that's scary.
Oh yeah. And so there was this one pictures of this one girl's face and her whole like lips like swollen, her whole cheeks swollen, her whole face is so fucked up. This one girl had to go to like multiple people had to go to the hospital. Like it was typically like you go to the fucking hospital like after you go there. Like and then once that started coming out, and that's also when like people like would be begging to stop and like passing out and he wouldn't let them stop. Like there would be videos of people passing out and actors, like the actors would be like slapping them and being like, oh, you're faking it. Like
I'm sorry, I'm saying nothing because I'm just overwhelmed. Like this is actually crazy. Like did this guy go to jail?
No. Like it like because you're signing a waiver, like apparently all this is legal, like but yeah, people would seriously be like, no, you're done, you're stop, and then like Russ wouldn't let them stop. Like he pretty much had the final say of when it was over. So if he decided it wasn't over, it wasn't over. And yeah, people would be there was a video of someone passing out and they're like slapping him and trying to get him up, and you can hear like Russ in the back be like, "Oh, you faker, like get this faker up." Like they're like
That's so
not believing these
gross.
people were like fucked up.
And you're like, literally, I want to know what the hospitals were saying. Like, all these people are coming in just majorly fucked up.
I mean, who the fuck knows? But like at that point, once all that came out, like, and this like chamber
videos of it came out, because that's, I feel like
yeah,
once people were seeing it, they were like, whoa.
that's when like negative reviews and comments came out. Like the community was like, okay, dude, you're taking this way too far. Like people are saying stop. Like people are like begging you to like quit that shit. Apparently there's this one video of this guy, his name's Anthony Silvis. He came out saying that like his friend wouldn't tap out, so Rush drug him behind his truck through gravel wearing nothing but a tank top. Ended up in the hospital, like all fucked up.
As you would if you got drugged naked in the street. Like what?
But that's not even like a horror. That's not even like paranormal.
You're just
like
torturing people.
Straight
At
torture.
this
Like
point,
you were just causing people.
You're just harming people in saying that. Oh well, they said they were okay with it.
Yeah, and like that. But that's what like got people too. Is like now you're hearing all these stories from these people saying like he was doing all these like way intense things, and people are saying like they wanted to be done and they weren't allowed to be done. People passing out and not like them just like keep going. But he on his YouTube channel would like interview people like a week later after they were like in the house, and ask them like when you needed to stop, like did we let you stop, did we do all this, and they're like, oh yeah, like I mean sure there's probably like a few handful of people that he did, so he went and found
that's what I mean people. Did he like interview the people that like that guy that he drugged with his truck? I don't think so.
Well, so that's when like this is like the downfall. So he's coming out with these videos now of like people being like, oh yeah, I got out, it was good, like you told me to stop. And then other people were coming out on YouTube saying that they weren't allowed to leave when they wanted to, and that they were ending up in the hospital. And some people said that they got PTSD and had to go to therapy after like going through the manor. And they were just coming out with their experiences and everything they had gone through. And Russ didn't like that, man. He was like, he stood up for his manor and he believed in what he's saying, and he went on the fucking defense, saying that like it was all smoke and mirrors, and that if he was actually doing something illegal, somebody would have shut him down. That was his defense.
This is it. We're trying to shut you down now.
I'm like, it's the defense of like a sketchy ass person. Yeah. I mean, it's not really up anymore, but then like after going on the defense and that not working, then he starts trying to use his following and starts to like attack people. Anybody that has anything negative, that has anything to say about the manor, he would tell the group to like attack these people and harass them.
Like on social media, or like attack them?
No, like on social media.
Okay, I thought you were saying like attack them. I'm like, what?
No, like
okay,
attack them on social media or harass them. All of this shit. So it's turning now into like this just toxic environment where, it's this, people are going after other people, and it's a dangerous place, and people are like really genuinely concerned for other people because they're like, I don't want you to go through what I like went through. And a petition actually came up to shut this manor down, and over 100,000 signatures was on this like
I would sign manor. That.
And totally, I would. Like, that shit's too far. Like,
it went too far.
I love haunted houses. I'm a big baby. I think they're scary, and I like going through and getting jump scared. That's fun to me. I know people are, like, really into the horror stuff, so I'm like, cool, I get the whole, like, blackout thing where, like, you want to be grabbed or, like, just touched or, like, just weird things. Like, that's fine. Like, but that's even normal. Like, sure,
that's normal.
like grab
not
my hand.
Getting your teeth pulled out, that's not normal.
That's taking it too far. Like, you can't be beating the shit out of people. Like, that's just torture. Like, you
Yeah.
literally have a torture chamber, like, in your back fucking yard, and you're charging people to go through it.
And are they being told, like, we're going to pull your teeth out, sign this waiver? No. Like, they're probably not telling them any of the stuff that they're going to be doing.
Well, so after this year, so 2016, man, like, this is the shittiest year. Apparently, like, the universe knew that this shit needed to be done, because in 2017, Russ has to move the manor from California to Tennessee. He just, like, all of a sudden makes this, like, move. He's gonna move over there. Doesn't say anything, doesn't say why, but starts a GoFundMe account for, like, him to move the manor and get that set up. And, like, that's all it said. If you, like, look into it, you can look into, like, public records. In 2017, at the time, Russ owed San Diego over $250,000 in taxes. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything, but it sounds like this boy left everything behind and, like, dipped the fuck out as fast as he could.
He's just trying to start a new life in a different place with his old life.
And trying to say peace out to $250 in taxes.
$1,000.
$250,000. Thank you. Yes, I forgot the 1,000. So then he moves to Tennessee, decides that, you know what, I'm going to keep this shit going. He pops up this new manor, being broke as fuck, owing so much money, leaving everything behind, having really no manor anymore, like he wasn't allowed to bring it. And apparently coming to Tennessee had, like, a bit of an issue with him rebuilding a torture chamber in his backyard, and they wouldn't let him do it.
As you would.
Apparently California is all for it. They're like, yeah, build a torture chamber.
We're crazy out here.
Tennessee, not so much. So he comes over and he, like, cites, like, hey, I have this new manor. He offers $20,000 for anyone that can beat the manor. Anybody.
$20,000?
$20,000. Now, as we've been talking, like,
where does he have this money? If he owes this much in taxes, I'm like, where are you going to give me $20,000?
That's the big question here, is how are you getting this? How are you offering that? Also, in the past, this manor has been something that you don't beat. You don't go through it. You go until you break, and then you're done. Like, there's not an end. So it's already kind of suspicious. Well, there's this guy, Justin Wolfstar. He actually, like, did it and went to the manor to do the 20K, had no idea about what the manor was before, like, no idea about the torture chamber in California. Only knew that, like, something's going down in Tennessee and someone's offering 20K for a Halloween haunted house. So he's like, fuck yeah, let's go. Travel states away to get to this manor. And it's nothing like what he had before. There's no house, no actors. It was literally apparently only Russ and a camera in his front yard.
Like an amateur video where they're going to, like, torture someone?
It was not even that. Like, all of that's gone now at this point. It was pretty much like a homemade boot camp.
Yeah, like a little video setup just in, like, the front yard. They're like, please come over.
Kind of. It looked like he had one of those, like, old ones where the side, like, flips out.
Oh, no.
The little gray ones. And yeah, he had him just, like, crawl with a barrel on his back and do, like, a bunch of hard labor, like, just a bunch of just weird stuff. Like, it was a very strange experience. And then, like, Russ pulls the shadiest shit ever, and he's like, you know what, Justin, we have to stop this because you can't keep going. Like, you can't keep doing. And Justin's like, no, I'm good. I can keep going. Like, let's go. Like, I'm good. And Russ is like, no, you can't go. We got to end this.
Who's a quitter now, Russ? You.
Well, that's when it kicks with Justin, is that there is no money.
Yeah.
Like, there is, like, nothing else. Like, nothing happened after this. There's no more. And so that's it. That's literally the end of this story. Like, that's the end of Mckamey Manor. Like,
he just realized he couldn't do it. He's like, I don't have the money. I can't.
Nope. And Justin goes home after literally just doing a day of hard labor and gets no 20K. And I went and looked onto the Mckamey Manor website and on both of their YouTube channels, because there's two. And I went and, like, looked to see what they were doing now. And sure as shit, the last thing that they've ever posted was about, like, the haters when all this shit was originally going down. So
you think it might pop back up?
No, I mean, every year around Halloween, this story kind of gets brought up because it's an interesting Halloween story, man. Like,
It's an
this
extreme
man
Halloween.
went from like a normal guy who just loved Halloween and loved a scare, went and got successful, was actually a really like big name. Everyone thought he was great and made a very, very successful haunted house
Turns psycho.
and just goes too far and wants a torture chamber apparently and would rather like torture people. And that's just kind of like it got too real, too not fun.
It would never get big like that again either. If it did pop back up, there would be so many people like with regulations and stuff probably.
Well, I mean, who knows? People are crazy. Like, he's already got a name. People I feel like too would also like they've heard so much shit now they want to be like, is it actually what it is? Or like, is it gonna be like what this guy Justin got? Like, how is he what is this man gonna come out?
That. You could not pay me money to go do that.
Oh,
I'm a big baby. I get scared. Like, you could jump out from behind the couch and I would freak out, but
that's some shit I'm not trying to do anyways. Like, fuck you, fuck that. But I just, man, like, he went from like starting with a passion, making it, having it all, and then threw it away because he didn't know when enough was enough.
It wasn't enough. Now it's over. He just turned out to be some like closeted weirdo that wanted to torture everyone.
That's kind of like, is this man like a serial killer?
Yes,
like,
I feel like
that just used this as his like outlet to like rage on people.
He probably was like weird for sure before, and then this just gave him like an outlet, and it just like intensified it. I feel.
I don't know, man. Listen, guys. Go have fun at a haunted house, but please don't go to a
Don't sign your rights away.
Yeah, don't sign your body away.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what these things were, is like, you're signing your whole body away. Don't do that. Keep that shit close to you, and don't let people fuck you up and pay them for it.
No.
I mean, no kink shame, but don't be getting
whatever
tortured.
You do at your house, that's your business. Don't go to this house. Don't go to any other house and let them do this crazy shit.
Don't be going to no Mckamey Manor and be like, give me money, beat the shit out of me. Don't do it.
Someone will do it for free. You don't have to pay anyone.
Those were good stories. I actually really enjoyed that.
It was a good little Halloween.
It was a fun like spookiness. We have a little couple. I want to get into. I want to talk about this weekend, man.
Okay.
I want to talk about what the fuck Sarah put me through this weekend. Because it was hard. It was rough. I got kicked in the face. I had to babysit this bitch to a max. And it was like a drop of the dime. Like, instantly. She went from totally cool to totally not cool.
It was a very fluke situation. I'm going to just start off by saying, how many times have we gone out before? We go out very often, and this has never happened before. So it was very weird for both of us.
Oh, definitely. We definitely are ones who get drunk quite often together. But, I mean, okay. And I also put a little bit on me. We went out and we decided that I told her, I was like, you know what, we're going to get lit
You
tonight.
told me to get trashed. You're like, I want you to be trashed.
I want the like,
I got trashed.
Where's the beach? Like, night. Like, that's where we need to be. And that's where the fuck this bitch went. But it was just so...
Off the deep end.
We get to the bar. Before we go to the bar, we go to Applebee's. We have one drink at Applebee's. I have a shot at Applebee's. And I get some buffalo wings, and she gets some mozzarella sticks. Munch, 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 munch. Then we go to the bar. Then we start with vodka Red Bulls. That's what we were drinking all night. So we go outside, we're drinking, hanging out. I end up running into one of my old friends that I've like known since elementary school. I don't talk to her. I don't see her really ever. I was just kind of like, oh shit, hi, how are you doing? So I go sit with her for like a little bit. We have friends that we know at this bar that we hang out with that are like over at our table hanging out with us. So like Sarah's over there chit-chatting with them, and like I'm over there chit-chatting with
and
like
we
my
do
friends
that
for
often.
a second.
We bring people in. We're not just like, we don't keep to ourselves.
No. And we definitely too, like, Sarah will go off and start talking to people, and then like I'll go off and start talking to people. Like,
it's normal.
We like to make friends when we're out. And so I'm over here like sitting with her, and I could tell something was different because Sarah starts like chucking ice at my back. Like chucking. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I know she tried to like get my attention. So she comes up, talks to me for a second, and then like dips. So I'm like, okay, cool. Everything's fine. So then we're like, all right, we're going to go do karaoke. So we go inside, go into karaoke, and invite my friends, which it's not even just like my one friend. It's like she's got two other people there. So
We're
everybody
at a
goes.
table with like 6 people.
Yeah, now there's a whole group of people. There's someone for everyone to talk to. Like, everyone also is talking to everybody. Like, Sarah's talking to the friends that we have. I'm talking to my one friend. They're kind of cross talking. Everyone's talking to everybody, just a normal, like, friendly bar night. And then I don't really know exactly what the fuck happened.
I literally just started crying out of nowhere.
I just turned to Sarah and she is giving me the deadliest stare, like,
while crying. I was death staring you while tears were like
crying.
running down my face in the middle of this bar.
So I look at this bitch and I'm like, why are you crying? Like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you crying? And she like looks up, and the two friends that we know from the bar, they're like, oh my god, are you okay? And trying to like console her because they genuinely think this bitch is upset. And I'm just like,
you're just like, what is happening?
Like,
yeah,
what's going on? So she gets up, leaves, goes to the bathroom, and she's like waiting outside the bathroom. So I walk over and I'm like, what the fuck is your issue, dude? Like, what's your problem? And she's just like, you're talking to that bitch like before me. You would rather hang out with that bitch. I'm way better than her. Da 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 da.
I was so offended by you talking to this girl.
Jealous.
So offended.
So jealous. And I just start laughing hardcore. I am dying laughing in the hallway of this bathroom. And then all of a sudden she just starts laughing and she's like, I'm just drunk. I'm drunk. I'm fucked up. I don't know why I'm mad. And so I was mad.
I have
good.
To this day, I don't even know why I was mad in the first place. Like, I don't know what happened that like made me upset.
Nothing. Like, and that's the thing is then like, and then we were good and we're like, ha ha ha, we're laughing. I'm like, bitch, we're fine. Like, you're drunk. Like, nothing happened. We're Gucci. And she's like, okay, we're Gucci.
We go back to the table.
So walk back to the table. The minute we sit down, I'm not even kidding, the fucking minute my ass cheek touches the fucking chair, I look over and she's back to like giving me death stares. I
got stuck
like,
in a loop or something. Something happened to me.
Just the minute she got there. And then I was just like, oh my god, bitch. So I'm like laughing again. Then she gets up and leaves. So I'm like, all right, well, like, I already gave her the pep talk. She knows. I'm gonna give her a second to like be by herself and whip her ass into shape. Like, come on, girl. Act up. Like,
and it wasn't even late. This was at like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah. We got home at like 11:30. It was an early night. So I'm just waiting for her. And all my friends are looking at me like I made you look like a piece of shit.
I made you look like a piece of shit over literally nothing. I don't even know what happened.
Oh, that's right. Well, like after we got back from the bathroom, now Sarah's talking to our friends and just straight trash talking me.
I was just mad that you were talking. I was like, he doesn't want to talk to me. He wants to talk to her more than he wants to talk to me. And I'm so happy and thankful that she did not hear me because I was in no state to start beef with someone.
And there was no beef to be started. You were just being a petty ass
I was
bitch.
Starting beef for no reason. Yes. That's my point. And I'm happy she didn't hear me because I had no argument. Like, I was just being a drunk bitch.
So this bitch gets up from the bar, gets up from the table, and walks out. So I'm just like, all right, she's off to the bathroom. Give her a fucking second. And then now everyone's staring at me like I'm a fucking dickhead. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So I'm just chilling. And I think it's funny, too, because I also, like, I know this bitch. She's not mad at me. Like, she could say she's mad at me, but I ain't did shit, and I know she's fucked up, and I'm not to blame.
And so, I wasn't mad. We had that whole laugh. Like, everything was fine.
So I'm just, like, waiting, and she doesn't ever come back. So I'm like, all right, well, now I gotta go find her. Get the fuck up, walk out the bar, and she's not at the bathroom, not in the back, like, not on the patio, nowhere to be seen. So I, like, pull up my phone, find my friends, and I, like, see her little location in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm just thinking she's, like, by my car, like, just sitting there or, like, doing something. I walk out. She's on the ground next to the fence in between two cars, like a white Kia that's not mine and another car. And she's in between those next to a fence on the ground, bawling, like, loud crying, and there's some random stranger there and she's like talking to them, and I could hear my name and I can know she's talking shit about me, and I'm just like, oh my god. So I like look up and I see her on the ground and I'm like, oh my god, Sarah, what the fuck? I'm like pretty drunk, I'm not drunk, but I'm like, shit's too much is going on. So I'm just like so focused. I don't even like talk to this guy, see what he looks like. No, I'm just like, Sarah. So like go to Sarah and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what happened? And she had apparently
I had fallen. So I don't remember any of this at all. Like, once we did the karaoke, I have no memory of any of our conversations. So, this is like the next morning I was finding all of this out. But I remember going outside. I think I was like, I just need a minute in like the air or something. I go outside, lose my balance, something happens, and I fall and I try to grab onto the fence. Obviously, I'm drunk, didn't work out very well. Cut my hand, like my finger open on
Oh,
this
it's
fence,
such
literally
a
like
bad cut.
slashed myself to the point where I was like bleeding everywhere. And I'm just laying on the ground talking to a random stranger. So I'm happy that you came looking for me and that we were at a gay bar and no one was trying to kidnap me because it could have been bad.
So I go up to her and she was like on the floor crying and she like throws her bloody hand like at my face and she's like, "You did this to me. You did this." And I'm
You
like, "Oh
wanted
fuck."
this. I remember saying that.
And there's like some random dude there and she's just like covered in blood. And I'm like, "Fuck." Like they're going to think I like beat the shit out of you or something. Like I don't know. So I'm like, "Sarah, get up. Come on. Like dust yourself off. We got to get you home. You're done for the night." So then I get her up. I'm still dying laughing. I don't know. This whole situation was just
That would be
hysterical to
funny.
me.
I would be laughing if that was me in
So
like
she's like
reverse.
pissed at me too. So I'm getting her up, and she's like, "You fucking bitch, chose that bitch for me." Like just like mumbling like pissed off shit to herself. So she runs over to the car to like this white Kia that she's next to, and just starts like ramming in the fucking handle as hard as she can. And I'm like, "Sarah, this is not my car." And she's like, and just like runs off. So I have to like go run, grab her, and I'm like, "Let's go." So then I'm like laughing with her, and she's like,
Like ugly
and I'm
crying.
like, "Bitch, you're fine. Everything's fine. Like nothing happened tonight." And she's like, "You chose that bitch over me," like just nonstop. And I was like, "Girl, we're good." So I get her in the car, and we're like driving along. And she's still just like crying and then getting mad at me and then like crying. And so I literally had to be like, "Bitch,
I was just drunk.
who the fuck is the grace to my will?" And she goes, "Me." I was like, "Who's the grace to my will?" And she's like, "Me. I am. Okay, I'm good." And then after
I
that,
just got stuck. I don't know what happened.
well, that wasn't it, man. After that, it was fine for the
Yeah,
car
flash
ride.
forward, we get back to the house.
We drive up to the like apartment. I go and like park the car, and I'm like, "Come on, Sarah, it's like time to get out. Let's go." And she gets out and just fucking takes off like without me. And I'm like, okay, like I got my eye on her. Like fine. So we're walking, and like you get to the trash can in my complex, and you take a right to like get to my apartment. This bitch takes a sharp left and is like gone. And I'm like, oh fuck.
Sprinting
So
into the
like
distance.
I literally have to run after her, like full sprint run. And I can't see her anymore, but I just see money on the ground, like a trail of money and shit. And like, I'm like, oh fuck. So I start picking up the money and I pick everything up. And Sarah's sprawled out in the middle of the fucking sidewalk. And I'm like, oh shit, bitch, get the fuck up. Like, my apartment's over there. And she's like, no, I'm not getting up. I'm not getting
I
up.
was
Fuck
done.
you. Then she got pissed at me again. Like, it was right back in. She got pissed. I was like, Sarah, get the fuck up. We need to go. Get this bitch up. Get her into my apartment. And I get her into the room. And she just like plops down on my bed. So I'm like, all right, Sarah, like take your shoes off. Like, I'm still being super nice. And I'm like, come on, Sarah, like take your shoes off. And I'm trying to take her shoes off. She's like, no, I don't want to take my fucking shoes off. And I'm like, bitch, you're gonna take your shoes off, you're gonna lay in my bed. And so then she like stops moving, and I try to like take her shoe off, and she like rips her shoe out of my hand and fucking kicks me in the face. Like just full on boof. And I was like, ooh. I was like, give me your fucking shoe right now.
I want to say that it wasn't intentional because I don't remember doing it, but it probably was intentional. I probably was trying to kick you in the
definitely.
face.
The way you fucking kicked me, I was like, that was on purpose. So I was like, give me your fucking shoe. So she like gave me her shoe and I like untied it, fucking took it off. And then I'm like, all right, this bitch needs to go to bed. And she's like, I gotta throw up. I'm like, okay. So instead of like getting up and walking to the bathroom like a normal person would, she army crawls
like roll
off the bed, army crawls on the like ground all the way to the toilet. And she gets to the toilet, lifts the seat. And then she'd like be at the toilet seat, ready to throw up, head in the toilet, and then the minute she actually threw up, it would like convulse her whole body.
I think I just had to
She
spin
would
so
like
bad.
shake and then throw up all over the side of the toilet, all over herself, all over the floor, everywhere but the actual
This
toilet
is
bowl
not a
that
good
she's
look for
sitting
me.
in
I don't like
front
that we're
of.
broadcasting
No, we're
this.
telling this.
I know, but
So then I'm like, oh fuck, bitch. So I'm like, come on, Sarah. So then I'm like, all right, get the toilet paper, get everything, get it all cleaned up. And she's just like ripping off so much toilet paper while I'm already like giving her toilet paper that I'm not seeing. And she's shoving it all in the toilet and then just like flushes and then like clogs the toilet. Well, that's when I fucking find out that apparently no one in my fucking house has a goddamn plunger here, and I'm gonna have to go get a plunger because I'm like searching everywhere. I can't fucking find a plunger. I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, where's your plunger? Like, I know you got a plunger. And she's like, I don't have a plunger. And I'm like, how the fuck does nobody in this house have a plunger? What the fuck? And I feel bad for my mom because like I'm dealing with Sarah. I'm under a lot of stress, and now the toilet's clogged.
Of all
like,
things, the toilet gets clogged.
Like this bitch is still gonna have to throw up. Now there's gonna be throw up everywhere, toilet water everywhere. I'm not gonna be able to shit in my toilet. Like there's so many issues with what was going on at the time. And I'm calling my mom and she's like, I don't have a plunger. Well, what first happened is I call her and she's out at the bar. And I was like, hey, do you have a plunger? I was like, hey, do you have a plunger? And she's like, no, I don't have a printer. And I'm like,
she's just drunk too. She's like, a printer?
I was like, no, Mom, a plunger. And she's like, no, I told you I don't have a printer. I'm like, Mom, I'm saying a fucking plunger. I need a plunger. And she's like, Cody, if you need a printer, call Scott and like he can print something for you. And I'm like, Mom, I don't need a fucking printer. And so she's like, hold on, I'll go outside. So she goes outside. She's like, what do you need? I was like, a plunger, Mom. I need a plunger. And she's like, oh, I don't have one. So then that's like sends me in a full-on rage. And I'm like, how do you not have a plunger? Like, who doesn't have a fucking plunger? And she's like, well, I was a single woman living home. I have tiny poops. So this is like, oh my fucking God. And then I don't know, the miracles of the universe, like they just knew I was under so much stress. All of a sudden the fucking toilet just unclogged itself. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it unclogged and we were all good to go. So then this bitch ends up like falling asleep on the toilet. And I'm like, whatever, cool. She's wearing throw up clothes. Best to just keep that bitch in the bathroom. I go and I grab one of my pillows, take off the like pillowcase, and I'm not kidding. I go over to this bitch and I literally just grab the top of her head and like rip her head up and then like shove
Stuff
my
the pillow
pillow just like in between the like toilet and the floor, and I was just like put her head back. You
dropped my head. You didn't put it back. You just dropped me and let me land there.
I was so fucking done with this bitch. She's lucky I just didn't leave her in the fucking grass. But so I like put her up already, and then oh no, I just put her to sleep. We'll leave it at that. So then I go and I get in bed and I go to sleep, and then I wake up and she's sleeping right next to me. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I go to look, and this bitch is still wearing her throw up clothes. And I'm like, oh my God.
And you have white sheets, by the way. It's like a white comforter.
I have a white comforter. And I'm like, this bitch is in my bed in her throw up clothes. So I get up, it's like 5 a.m, and I'm like, Sarah, get up. Like, you gotta change your clothes. You're in my bed in your throw up clothes. That's yucky. So then she gets up, and this bitch is still fucked up. She gets up, changes her clothes, and is sitting there. She's like, I think you could take me home. And I'm like, bitch, it's 5 a.m. Shut the fuck up. Go to sleep. And we had like a little conversation. It wasn't really anything crazy. But then the next morning she woke up and she was like, I don't know how I got here. And I'm like, you don't remember you being completely fine at 5 a.m? She's like, no, I was fucked up.
No, I looked down. I was like, oh my God, what happened to my hand? Like, I didn't remember everything right away. The last thing I remember was like getting drinks and doing the karaoke. And then that was it. And then I woke up here the next morning. I was like, what?
She got so fucked up. And man, I've had to babysit a couple of times, but I've never had a babysit like that. Like, that was a true test of this friendship, and if this bitch ever thinks there's somebody else, like, she better check again, because I would have left her ass in the bar.
And not even that you had to babysit me. You had to babysit me while I was, like, pissed at you, and it was, like, a whole separate level.
Yeah, it wasn't even like it was, like, haha funny, or it was just like, damn, she's too much. It's like, she's attacking me the entire time. I'm trying to be nice and help her, and I'm like, okay, bitch, like, I'm your best friend, this is my duty, but, like, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you, like.
No, I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, thank you for taking care of me, Cody, and my drunk ass. I was like, do you want me to clean your bathroom? Like, I'll do whatever you want.
Oh, yeah, it was funny. Oh, that was super funny, though, is, like, I had to make her clean it in the time, and I'm like, take these towels, take this, and when they say toddlers are just drunk adults, that's exactly what they are, because Sarah's sitting there like a toddler, like legs just sprawled out, and like not actually paying attention to what she's like cleaning, wiping, and just like randomly moving her arm side to side. And I'm like, you're not cleaning anything, you're spreading, like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It was It was so much fun.
It'll
and
be
I'm
a
ready for
good
next time.
story.
I'm ready for next time. It was a fun time.
It'll be good. I owe you a time. I'll drive one time. We'll go out and
then you can babysit me and I can throw up all over your bathroom.
Yeah, I hope you don't cut your hand open though. Oh,
No.
I want to see the video of that person going out to their car and finding the blood all over it, because obviously I was grabbing onto the wrong door handle with my bloody ass hand.
Yeah, because we went out to my car the next morning and there was a bunch of orange shit all over my car. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then it like kind of hit. Like Sarah had her bloody ass hand and there was blood all over my handle. And I'm like, you touched that other car before mine. Like, I'm so sorry, like whoever you are, but you've got like blood on your handle.
They probably came out. They were like,
Happy
did I
Halloween.
hit someone?
I'm not kidding. My car looked like I fucking ran over someone. There was like a big ass blood splatter on the front of my car and then all over the door handle and the side. And I don't even know how this bitch even did it, because
used the car to like move. Like I was unstable, so I was like dragging my bloody hand across your car to like stand up.
I think the blood on the front of the car got on when you got out of the car.
Oh.
Because we walked up to my car that night from the back. So I'm like, you must have had to like completely miss the fucking front door. Like,
well, and who knows what even happened? I mean, until you could, like, I could have gone over to your car and this other white car before
Honestly,
you came out. Like, we have no idea what happened.
I mean, that's true. You
I could have been out there
sent that.
Spreading it all over everything.
To continue on about these
not
bar
my
stories.
Brightest moment. Not my.
I just needed to highlight it, Sarah. I mean, it'll
be funny and like when we go out the next time. We haven't been out since then, so it's still like fresh.
You're like, it's still a deep.
I'm like, don't make me relive that right now.
One more bar story, and then we're going into our next segment here. Hopefully, a regular segment, but one more bar story. No, jump too fast. Last night I was at the bar with some of my friends, and I mean, I had just gotten out of the bathroom right before this happened, which, like, thank God it wasn't me. But I go into the bathroom and I just use the bathroom like normal. Literally nothing like out of the ordinary. Use the urinal, flush it, use a like sink, use it, everything's normal. Come out 45 seconds. I'm like, let's be real, like 45 a minute after I had sat back down, all of a sudden everyone is like rushing to the men's bathroom. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So I run over and I look, and the like handle part of the urinal had like broken off of the urinal and started like spraying out water. And there was this dude that was sitting there that like broke off the handle, and he was just covered in urinal water, like completely soaked. And so like we're watching there, water's just flooding out. It starts like flooding out to the bar. The bartenders like, and everyone start freaking the fuck out, because like that's where all the like dartboards and all the electricity is. So they're like, get the fuck out of the area. And then they had to like shut the whole fucking water off at the bar. How the fuck do you break a urinal?
Like, did they just kick the handle off? Like, how?
The guy seemed completely normal. The guy coming out of the bathroom, like, he didn't seem like completely drunk. He was like really just kind of like, what the fuck just happened? And he like went out and got a new shirt, but like his hair soaked hair, had to get a new shirt, like got drenched. And I was just like, oh my God, thank God that wasn't me, because
you were just there.
I would have lost my fucking shit if that shit would have happened to me. I'd have been like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but now I'm drenched in like fucking urinal water. Like, I'm about to throw some hands. It was wild. Like, out of everything that like happens when you go to a bar, I don't expect to see a fucking urinal like take a giant piss on somebody else. Holy shit. That's my last bar story. We had a wild ass weekend this week, and a lot of fun things come out when you go drinking. Sarah, I want to ask you a question. It's kind of been a meme that's been going around, and I want to know like what's your take, and if you would take the deal. If you were given $1 million and the ability to be made immortal, but in exchange you were being hunted down by a snail that's only goal was to come right after you, and if it touched you, you would die, and the snail is immortal.
So me and the snail, both immortal. Snail trying to kill me, and I get $1 million.
Yeah. You get millions of dollars.
Okay. I'm down for it. I would do it.
I could cut some questions. Like,
I do have questions, but I would still probably do it.
where is this snail
Does it
spawning?
start next to you?
Yeah, like, is it outside your house? Is it just like the closest snail to you? Does it appear?
Is it big? How fast is it?
Can you trap it?
Can it go through
walls?
stuff? Yeah. I need more.
I mean,
info.
honestly, with a snail going at snail pace, like, dude, fuck yeah. I think, like, and I just got millions of dollars. Like, let's go. I'm going to go live in France.
I would chill
for
at
a couple years.
Yeah.
Like, if it was from here, Arizona, to get to France, like, it's going to take years. Definitely, for fucking sure. So, like, yeah, I'll chill in France for a couple years. By the time it gets to France, boom, I'm moving to Canada. I'll go live in Canada for a couple years. Once it gets to Canada, boom, gone to the UK. I'll live in the UK for a little bit. Once it gets to the UK, boom, back to the US. And it's just like a back and forth. And then, boom, I'm cultured as fuck. I've lived everywhere. I'll go live in Greece. I'll go live in Italy. I don't know.
You could go wherever you want. Wherever you want.
I really need to do that, like, GeoGuessr game.
The what?
GeoGuessr? It's like a game where you just press play and it drops you down in, like, Google Maps at a random like location, and then you just have to, like, scroll around and look and kind of guess where you're at.
Got it.
It's really fun. It's really fucking hard. I don't know how people, like, there's some people that are really fucking good and they just, like, know where the fuck they're at all the time.
I'm north of Switzerland.
How do you know so much about all these places? Like, I only know what the fuck Arizona looks like, and that's about it.
And honestly, Nevada looks like Arizona in some places. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, if you were in the middle of the desert, you don't fucking know.
I couldn't tell you a difference from one forest to the next. Trees are trees. But I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about that meme, and I was thinking about, like, that kind of, like, scenario, and I was like, ooh, fun little scenarios. So I was thinking a fun little, like, segment we could do each week would be, like, would you rather questions. Leave us out to, like, fun little questions for fun.
And I feel like
entertainment. Content. So this week I got quite a few. We can, like, maybe pick or choose or go through
I feel like we should just do a couple, do, like, a little intro, because we're already super long on time. And then we can definitely save this and do this as just introduce it in the new episode, because I feel like this episode has so much stuff already. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, might as well start it. All right, I got, like, a couple different sections, so I think I'll just do, like,
pick one from each. Yeah.
Okay, so let me look. I want to read, I want to see what's up. Okay. Would you rather never be able to go out during the day or never be able to go out at night?
What happens? Like, you're just you just can't go, or like you would die if you went out?
You're unable to go out. There is a force that won't let you leave your house. Don't be thinking too literal into this shit.
Sorry. Well, we've been very literal with a lot of the topics today. That's where I'm at. I would rather go out at night.
Me too. I'm the same way. I always feel a lot more, like, energetic and more. Oh, I'm such a night owl.
Half the reason too, it's hot here. We live in Arizona. I'm not trying to go out during the day.
But then it's also like, is this a world where everything's open at nighttime, or is it like, damn, you really only have like 2 hours to get all your shit done and everything closes at 10?
And what is nighttime? Like, what is the time frame?
Like
once
the sun
it's dark,
down, it's dark.
Well, I mean, like, it gets dark at like 6 or 7. Like, you could still go to the store and shit if you had to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, during wintertime, sure, it gets dark super early, so you have a lot more time. But during the summer, like, it's like 8:30 before it gets dark, and shit closes at 10. Bam, you're only left with like an hour.
I'm still picking night. I would still rather go out at night. Final answer.
No, I agree. I'm the same person. Like, listen, if I don't have time to do it to the day, it's not fucking important. Like, I'll figure it out.
I do see the, like, pitch for the daytime, though, because more is open and there's more to do.
I used to work overnight at Discover, and I had to live my life at nighttime and figure that shit out and, like, do it. I mean, I got to go out during the day. Like, that was still an option. But then you're up at nighttime most of the time and getting your shit figured out at night. So I'm like, I could do it. I would love it. All right. Next one. Are you ready?
Ready. Hit me with it.
Would you rather have unbelievable sex that lasts 10 minutes or average sex that lasts an hour?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, definitely.
10 minutes,
This
for
is
sure.
one thing I don't
need sex to be an hour long. If you need it to be an hour, you're not doing it right, probably, or you're doing some extraness. You know what I mean?
I don't think anybody wants it to be that long. Like, sure, if you're like on top and like you're like pounding it out, sure, maybe you may like the way it feels for an hour. But I can tell you right now, anyone that's like on the bottom,
I'm like, you done yet?
Nobody wants to be fucked for longer than like 30 minutes. Like at that point, I'm fucking checked out. I'd rather go get a snack, smoke,
unless you're
watch
doing
some
intermissions
TV.
between like just an hour straight, it's too much.
That's way too much. Like I would rather have great fucking sex for 10 minutes and feel completely satisfied and done and then be ready to go do so much more shit and be like, can I fucking go home now on like hour 45 and my like butthole's hurting and I'm just like I want to be done. Like at that one point, it's just like,
stop.
Yeah.
You're like,
man,
we're done with
I'm
this.
over it. It's been too repetitive. Over. I'm bored. Like it gets boring. I agree with that. Was a good one.
That was a good one. But who is picking an hour?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think straight guys like that's who people
I feel like
don't know.
Straight guys would pick it just because they think it's like a good thing that they can last that long. I'm like, yeah, like stop.
It's like 18-year-old straight dudes because they don't.
They think that the time is like, what's important.
Think about it too. Like when you have sex, when you first start having sex, like as a guy, like it's all about time.
The time is all that matters.
All about time. It doesn't matter about anything else. Just about how long can you last. So I could see that, but fuck no. Once you get older, you realize fuck that shit. There's way too much shit to be done during the day. We don't have time to be like.
I'm like, you want to bang one out and go get something to eat?
Yeah,
like I'm not trying to have it be a whole event. Okay.
I still want to be able to like watch my shows and like get some shit done on my computer before bed.
Yeah.
So we got to make this shit quick.
Make it snappy.
Ooh, this one I want to do because this one was fun. Would you rather walk in on your parents having sex or have them walk in on you having sex?
I don't know. I'm going to have to go with I would rather walk in on them because I do not want them to be seeing what the fuck I'm doing.
I was going to say, as someone, as a child who has walked in on their parents having sex and being scarred for life for that, I would still choose walking in on my parents versus them seeing me in that light.
I don't want them to see me.
Like, I know I don't know how to explain it. It's just different. It's like, no, you don't, we got to keep that separate. I'm still a child. Like, being a child, it's accidental and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's different. But that just like changes everything because a child can hide it and they can pretend it never happened.
Well, and when you're younger, you don't really understand as much. Like, am I walking in at this age? Because I'd be like, all right, sorry, y'all, continue. Like, I would just close the door.
Well, I think so because I mean you're not. I mean, some people are.
Okay,
but, like,
no, never mind. Yeah, we're not talking about kid sex right now.
No, like I think I would rather like walk in my mom. I like my parents. I'd rather just be like, oh, my bad.
Yeah, it would be not a big deal if it happened now. I feel like.
Ooh, all right.
But that is a good question. I'm interested to see what other people would say.
That one's a good one. All right, the last one we'll do here, just to kind of like give you a really intense thought to leave it on. Would you rather know how the world began or how it will end? End. Why do you say that?
I want to know where we're going. Like what? I don't know. I just have questions. Like if you could do something risk-free, I would die. Risk-free. Like and be able to come back. Like I want to know what's happening. You know what I mean? Like if I was a time traveler, I would go to the future. I wouldn't go to the past. Like I want to know what's coming.
You know what's so crazy? So I'd always say how it will end. But since you were saying that, like me kind of like thinking about it and thinking about the other like alternative, knowing how the world began, you would then know what forces or like what really created everything, like how that started.
You would know everything, basically. You would know how everything happened.
Wouldn't you then already know how it would end if you know how it began? Or like know what the like...
But do you think that nothing can be changed? Like, do you think no matter what we're doing, everything is just going to happen how it's supposed to happen? It doesn't matter what you do, like the big picture.
Well, like what if this is just an experiment? Like, what if we're just an experiment? And so there was like, we're like a controlled group. So there was like an educated guess, like an hypothesis of like what the fuck happened. And if you knew the beginning, you knew what the hypothesis of this experiment was and what the end goal was trying to be. Like, sure,
Yeah.
maybe you won't know exactly how it will be, but like you would at least have like a sense.
Yeah.
Food for thought. That's honestly,
That's a good lead into like a conspiracy topic.
That's a good one. I always like to ask that question to people like all the time because I think it's a really good one also to kind of pick people's mind to see like what they
Where they're
kind
at,
of
yeah,
like what they value as like important to them in the afterlife or like how they kind of see it in a non like really religious way,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
But that's it, guys. I think we kind of like sailed through it. We gave you a lot today. This is an
Gave you a
episode.
lot. We got a little preview of what we're going to be bringing in the future episodes. Maybe just, I don't know, this could be our like end, maybe, like our
Yeah,
post
maybe we'll do this
show.
for a little bit. One thing that I look forward to, and this is me manifesting it. I don't do manifesting, but like I want to try it, and this is gonna be me doing it. I manifest that this show will get big enough where we can start doing Q&As because I've always thought that'd be so much fun is to like get questions from people and then answer those.
Real questions that we're not coming up with.
Right, like, and then, because I'm like, you look online for like fun little questions, but they're all still the fucking same and they're still boring. So I'm like, I want questions that people are actually thinking and like that like pertain to this show, you know? So that's what I'm manifesting is this show will get to a point where we'll have a Q&A and we'll be
people are going to be
Q&As,
interacting,
and this will be an interactive show. We will get there. And with that note, we will end it with this. Thank you guys for tuning in again. I don't usually say it, but like make sure you follow, make sure you leave a review for us. Like that really does help. Make sure you do all those fun things and make sure you know when we post again. But we'll see you next Thursday for another episode of So Spontaneous and we'll catch you later.
Bye.